All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to our first webinar of this series, March 3rd, 2017. And today's topic is keys to having a website that best promotes your business. And I think Melinda summarizes it best down there. You see on the screen, keys to an effective website. We're excited for the topics. We've got 3 months that we're going to be doing these, March, April, and May. If you have not already got the list of what webinars will be happening each Friday at 11, give me a call and I can get that to you. We're excited. We've got a great list of presenters this year. A lot of them are very qualified. Some of them are SBDC consultants throughout the state of Idaho. Very knowledgeable in the different topics that we have for the time. So we're excited about that. We appreciate you joining us. We have a lot of people. We've built up quite a following of people also listening to them after the fact when they're posted on our website. So we are excited for today's topic. Today's presenter is Melinda. She's what's the name of your company, Melinda?
I'm rebranding. It was Right Sites, and we're now Sublimity Media.
Sublimity Media, great. I've had Melinda has built multiple sites for me. She's a great site. She's got some great experience in building effective websites. She's worked for a company that has been that's had one of the best growth rates in webinar or in web sales. So I'll let her take the time. We've got about 25 minutes, Melinda, 25, 30 minutes, and then we'll open it up at the very end if anyone has any questions. If anyone has any questions during her presentations, please put them in the chat box. We will probably mute most people just so we don't have any background noise. But if you do have any questions during the middle of her presentation, please put them in the chat box and we'll get to them at the very end. So with that short and brief introduction, Melinda, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thanks, Brian. I appreciate the opportunity. This is one of my favorite topics, websites and all things digital marketing. So I'm a geek like that and love talking about it. So I'm excited about this. So I'm just going to dive right in. If you have questions, like Brian said, just put them in the chat box, and I'll see if I can answer them as we go, and then at the end I'll leave some time. So basically, the keys to an effective website, consider this. If you consider your website one of your most important employees, it will be just as valuable. So that might be kind of a strange statement, but your website can really serve a lot of the same purposes that your employees do, and can do it a little bit more effectively sometimes. So let's take a look. I'm just going to kind of introduce myself just real quickly, not to brag, but to kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from. I've been developing websites for 15 years. Specifically, my expertise is in search engine optimization, but I've learned a whole lot of things along the way. One of my most formative experiences was over the last 2.5 years. I was the marketing director for FinFun. I don't know if you guys have heard of FinFun Mermaid Tales, but there's a picture. And basically, it was kind of a wild ride. I was running my own agency here in Idaho Falls called Right Sites, and the CEO of FinFun called me up and was looking for some help, and turned into a full-on put my agency on hold for 3 years and just went to work for them. So I'll kind of give you a timeline of their growth so you can see kind of what the experience was. So in 2012, well, I'll go through here. There. So in 2012, they started selling Mermaid Tales on eBay and finfun.com. And then in 2013, so they were number 6 and number 7 on Google for the term Mermaid Tales. So they weren't, they were on there, they were on the first page, and you would think it wasn't a big, wasn't very competitive because they kind of invented the term as well. So so I started in early 2014 as marketing director, and my focus was search engine optimization, building tremendous content which engages the audience, also doing that on social media, and then influencer marketing. So influencer marketing is basically getting your product into the hands of people who influence your particular target base. So we did that by getting it in the hands of basically girls on YouTube that our target market was watching, and that proved to be an explosive and extremely effective advertising tool. So in 2015, we added some retail in boutiques and high-end resorts, and then Amazon.com, we added that sales channel, and that has continued to just grow exponentially. We were, at that point, dominating Google rankings for all mermaid tail related keywords. We pretty much dominated the whole first page as much as we could. And believe it or not, there are competitors, and there, of course, as we grew, there became many, many more competitors that joined. And by 2016, the business had grown 3,000%. In August, we were named a number 119 fastest growing companies on Inc.'s 500 list. 5,000 list, but and then number 1 fastest growing company in Idaho, and the top 10 fastest growing retail companies on the Inc. 5. We were in the top 10. I think it was number 9. So it was quite a ride. It was a lot of fun, and I learned a ton of things. So I'm going to basically kind of break down how you can apply the things that I've learned, and I'm going to kind of give you some information about how you can apply that to your business, not just mermaids. So the 3 main keys to an effective website are, first, and these are not really in any order, but design, content, and search engine optimization. Those are the 3 main keys. If you're, we'll just dive into them one by one. So let's start with design. So if your website sucks, what does that tell your potential customer or client about your company? Just think about that. If we've all been to websites that suck, and we've gone, it doesn't really represent the company very well. So here's what the design on your website should do. It's more than just looking pretty or looking cool or any of that. It's really, there's a job for it to do. So what you have to determine, what is your most wanted response when somebody comes to your website? What do you want them to do? Then you don't distract from that. You have to make sure that you know what you want them to do and then get them to do it without distracting. So you're also using the design to tell your story, to represent your brand. Like I said, you don't want it to look like you don't care, because then they might assume that about your product or about your service as well. So it should demonstrate perceived quality. And there should always be a clear and simple call to action. So whatever your most wanted response is, that should be, you should call that to action. Call the visitor to action to take that action right away in a clear and very simple, undistracting way. So you're going to lead the visitor through the process to your most wanted response in as few steps as possible. So those are the things that your design should really do. So let's talk about some real high-level examples. So what's Google's most wanted response? Anybody want to put it in the chat? want to guess? What's their most wanted response? What do they want people to do when they land on the website? They want people to search, right? That's all. I mean, Google has a whole world of services and apps and all kinds of things, but they don't put any of that on their main page, because what they want is for you to search, and they don't want to distract from that. So Facebook, same thing. When you land on Facebook's homepage and you don't have an account, there's a ton of stuff on Facebook, but they're not showing you any of that. They're leading you to what they want you to do first. That is their most wanted response. They want you to create an account. And apparently it's worked, because they have billions and billions of users across the world. So let's look at Amazon. So this is Amazon's homepage when I'm not logged in, as of a couple days ago. And on Amazon's page, you're always going to see this search bar on every page, no matter what. That is what they want you to do. They want you to search everything from A to Z. That's their motto, right? Their slogan. Everything from A to Z, Amazon. So they want you to search, and you can drop down, look through categories. They also want you to sign in. Then they are offering you some popular departments, some things that they think you might be interested in, and some other content. But their main focus is top of the page, right there on every page, is search. That's what they want you to do. That's their most wanted response. So that's the idea behind your design. It's not just to look pretty, although it needs to demonstrate quality, but it really needs to get the visitor to take the action you want them to take. So let's see, let's take a look at content and see how we do that. So the content on your website should serve. Your website must serve your customer or client in some way to be effective. How many of us have gone to a website and we're looking for a piece of information, or we're looking at something, and we're looking for anything and we can't find it? It's like, well, what's the point of having a website if it doesn't have what you're looking for, what your visitor is looking for? So here's what the content on your website can do. It can offer value, so it can give information, ideas, instruction, help, entertainment. Depending on what your business and your focus is, it can provide all of those things or any of those things. It should speak to the needs of your visitor and demonstrate understanding. So you should take some time to get into the mind of your of who you want to visit your website and see what is it that they're looking for, and then make sure you provide that. So solve their problems, serve the customer, and here's some ways you can do that. Answer questions, so you can have a frequently asked question place or a knowledge base, or even just in the content itself just gives them the information that they might be looking for, like directions, instructions for how to use a product, or how to anything that has to do with your business. And it can also sell your products. It can give you the information about your products, answer all their questions about it, and then actually take the sale. So the content should also build a trusting relationship, and it should gain loyalty. So those are the things that you're trying to accomplish with the content on your website. And you know, you don't just put stuff up there. We see a lot of content junk that is that people just put up stuff for keywords, and that may have worked in the past, but it doesn't work anymore. People see through it. We've seen too much of it, and so we really see through it. So I'm going to take a look at another high level. We're going to look at Apple.com, and we're going to see how they do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show my taskbar, and I'm going to open up Apple here. Close that. Okay, so this is Apple's homepage, apple.com, right? They're showing off some of their products, but what I really want to do is go in here to the MacBook Pro. I'm shopping for a MacBook Pro, right? So let's see how they use content to answer my questions, to show me the information that I might be looking for, and do it in a very pleasing, aesthetically pleasing way. So here's the MacBook Pro, and they have a film right here. It's really pretty cool. And there's a really nice, big, detailed picture. Notice there's not a ton of text. It's just very brief, short, to the point. It's clean. It's showing you what you might want to know. And you'll just keep going down here, and they've got video, but they're not shoving it in your face. They're not distracting, because this buy button right here is what they really want. But they're not going to shove it in your face. They're going to give you all the information you might want, because they know when you're shopping, you're not looking for, you're not going to just get on and buy unless you've already been here and gone through this whole process. So they're going to give you all the information that you're looking for. So there's a ton of different things you can play with. You can open up more. You can close it. Obviously, this is extremely high-end. It's Apple, obviously, but we can take the cues and the tips from this and apply it to any business website. So I'm going to go all the way down here. I'm going to keep scrolling. They have tons and tons and tons, everything you ever wanted to know about the MacBook. And I'm going to keep scrolling. Oh, and there we go, right here. So then they've got their options, buy, buy, buy. They're not huge buttons, but they've already answered all your questions, so you should be ready now. So that's kind of an idea of how your content can work at a high level, you know, the best in the world basically at what they do. So I'm going to go back to this. Okay, so let's move on to SEO, and we're going to, like I said, I'm going to answer questions, so jot anything down, and I can answer those when we get to the end. So SEO. So if you give search engines what they want, they will return the favor. That's how they work. How it works. Let me see. What do search engines want? Search engines want a good experience for their visitor, right? For their searchers. They want people to find what they're looking for and find the best options of what they're looking for. So if you give the best content, you give the best experience for a searcher, you give them what they're looking for, Google will reward you for that, and they will rank you higher. So let's dive into how we make that happen. So on-page keywords, and keywords are just simply what is your site about? What are the words that people are searching in, putting into Google and looking for, and then you make sure that your page has those words on it about your topic. So on page, they should be used in the headlines. The specific keyword phrase should be used in headlines and in text. There's a place for a meta title and meta description those are in the back end, and it's a little technical, but most CMS content management systems now make it pretty user-friendly for people to put those in. But you should write your description for both the human and search engines. So the human reader, you're going to want to not just put a bunch of keywords in there, because the human reader is going to glance at that and it doesn't make a lot of sense to them. They're just going to skip over it. And you're also going to be keyword stuffing, which search engines don't like anyway. So stick with writing it for the humans, but make sure that your keyword phrases are in there. So use keywords on your page in bold and in links. That also helps for Google to know what your page is about. And here's how you build Google authority. This is something that in the past few years Google has really weighted a lot more heavily than other things. It's something that they call Google authority. And to do that, basically they're looking for who is the authority on your subject in your area. And that's who they want to promote in their rankings, right? So create and use social media sites. So you should always have a Facebook, a Google+, and some whatever other relevant social media sites. You should have those because they provide Google authority for your site, but they also provide another avenue for you to get found on a search engine. So let's see here. Okay, so get links from influential sites or build an influential site yourself. I call these lead gen sites or lead generating sites, and I create those for clients, and basically it's another site that also links to your business and provides Google authority. Mobile responsive design is required and has been since 2014, I believe, either that or early 2015. But if your site isn't mobile responsive, meaning it won't redesign, basically realign itself to fit on a mobile device, then you will get penalized in the search engine rankings. So that's something that's extremely important, not just for SEO, but also for your user. I mean, if they come to your site, most people are coming on a mobile to your site first before they ever go on a desktop. That's just how it is now. And so you need to make sure that you're mobile responsive. So submit your site to directories, to blogs, and write articles. I'm looking at Brian's question. On the initial homepage, is it effective to have either a changing picture or video? Whichever tells your story best, basically, without distracting from the most wanted response. Video is extremely effective, and Google loves it. Google owns YouTube, so they will always promote YouTube videos over others, and also they just really like it as a content format. So so by all means, use video if it's effective and it doesn't distract from your most wanted response. You know, if a picture can tell 1,000 words or say 1,000 words, then a video can tell like 1,000,000. So videos are very, very helpful. So submit all of this content to places online and just get the word out in high quality places, not in link farms. Link farms will actually damage your site. and then it's amazing how many people just don't even submit their site to Google search. It's called Google Webmaster Tools, and you just submit your site. That's all you have to do is basically tell them I own this site, and you put a little tag on your site, and you verify it, and they know you own it, and then they're able to crawl it a lot easier. So it's something that I am shocked when I find clients and somebody built their website and didn't even submit it to Google. I just go, what? So make sure you do that. And then create a Google Analytics account and link it to your site. That is helpful as well. So a little bit about how search engine optimization works. This is kind of the last little thing I want to show you is my Main Street analogy. So here is a home page, page 1 of Google search for Idaho Falls web design. I know it's way too small, you can't read it. But keep in mind this. Think of the first page of Google as an old-fashioned Main Street, right? You're walking down Main Street, and each listing or ad or link is another entrance to your business. So you've got the sponsored ads up here, you've got the map pack listings right here for local, and then you've got the organic listings here and some more sponsored at the bottom. So every opportunity that your visitor has for coming into your business through one of these is another, it's another doorway. So there's limited real estate. There's only so much space on the first page. So the more doorways you own, the fewer competitors you have because you push them onto page 2 and nobody ever goes to page 2. So it's very, very beneficial to be doing all of these different things for search engine, not just organic, but also making sure that your local business is found in the maps. And then also, and that's through submitting to Google My Business. And then also running some ads if it's a competitive niche on Google AdWords. So some of the doorways you can have are websites, Facebook pages, Amazon products, YouTube videos will show up in organic a lot of times, map listings, directory listings, so like get your business, how do you check, sorry, Brian just asked a question, how do you check to see if your website is sent to Google? You go to, well, Brian, all the ones I built for you are, so don't worry about that, but you go to Google, basically google.com / webmaster tools, and you submit it. Just make sure and submit it and then verify it, and you'll see if it's already there. And then, let's see, all these things can give you search dominance, all of these different places, and that's what we did at FinFund. That's what I do for clients, is I just pursue all of these methods of getting your site found. So that's the end of my slide. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any at this point. I kind of did a high-level overview with some just simple tips, I think, and steps that you can take to really make your website more effective for your business. And I think if we think of our websites as a member of the business, as one of your most important and valuable employees, and if you treat it as such, it will do the job of a lot of different employees. And websites never take a day off. They never go on vacation. They never have sick days. Occasionally, something will crash, yes, but they're pretty darn effective tools. So for any business at all, I would recommend you definitely need one. So I'm looking. Do I have any questions?
I've got one, Melinda. How important is it to, I mean, effective is it to buy like keywords on Google and stuff like that that's going to lead people to your site and stuff like that?
It depends on how competitive your niche is and how competitive your business, like your local area is. It's effective. I mean, they show up here on the top. So people, a lot of people, so just like I said, the Main Street analogy, you've got this section that shows up on top, and a lot of people will skip that because they're ads, but some people don't. And then you've also got the maps, and then you've also got organic, and then you've got more on the bottom. And something else to think about is that when you advertise on Google AdWords, then you can also put your ads on the display network, which shows them on every website that is hosting Google Ads. So it's not just on the search results as well. So that's where you get a lot of added value from advertising on AdWords, is that you're going to get found on all kinds of different websites where people are looking at something that's even close to your business, or that Google's gotten really good at finding who's interested in what and making sure that the ads that they see are applicable to them.
So, like in my business in the cell phone accessories, I mean, to get an ad on there, say for cell phone repair, Idaho Falls, I mean, how much is that going to cost to get traction on it? Give me an idea of what a budget would be to be on that.
I would say probably a budget of maybe $100 to $200 a month would be really effective for your niche. I'm guessing, but it really depends. I mean, some niches are extremely competitive, even just in the local area. But you can be so targeted with your ads that you're only targeting like people who live in this geographical area, or people who are, there's all kinds of metrics you can use to really target, so that you're not wasting money on people clicking on it that aren't really interested, or that are seeing ads that aren't applicable to them. Somebody in Dallas is not going to see your ad. It's only going to be people in this area. So even in Boise, they're not going to see your ad.
Okay.
So you can be your ad spend can be pretty darn effective, depending on your niche and who and what your competitors are doing as well.
Okay.
But for a local business, most local businesses can get away with a couple $100 if it's a small business. There's some really competitive niches like lawn care, like water restoration is ridiculously competitive. So it just determines how many people are buying ads on those particular keywords in that area.
It used to be that you could hide keywords in your, I think, the subliminal or whatever, how you hide them in there. Is that effective anymore these days?
No, Google will penalize you for it.
Okay.
There's two different kinds of SEO. There's one, it's called white hat and black hat, basically, and some people like to talk about gray hat too. But it means basically your techniques. White hat techniques, SEO techniques, are very much following Google's rules. You're just basically doing what Google wants the right way. Black hat techniques are those kind of things that people have used over the last decade or so to try and manipulate Google, but they've gotten so good at it, so good at finding that stuff and penalizing it, that it is not worth it at all. So if you have anybody that's trying to do like tons and tons of backlinks, from link farms or anything, Google will drop your page so fast like a rock. It's not worth doing at all. They're looking for value for their searchers, and if you give value for their searchers, they will reward you. It's become very simple.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else have any questions they want to add to this? No questions means you covered it good. So,
I hope so.
Anybody else? Terry, Mary, George, anybody out there have any other questions? All right. Very informational.
Oh, good. Well,
thank you. So,
thank you.
Appreciate your time and preparation, Melinda. This is great start off of this series, and I appreciate your preparation. Next week's webinar is on leadership and things you need to do to be an effective leader in your business, and we're excited for that one. So with that, we'll sign off here for the week. Thank you again, Melinda, and everybody have a great weekend.
My pleasure. Thanks, everybody.